third American Football League championship race gets underway in 1962 with both of the previous pennants flying from the same pole. That would be in Jefferson Stadium, home of the Houston Oilers, the only champions the new league has ever known. The Oilers won handily in 1960 and put on a 10-game winning streak to win convincingly in 61. In 1962, they'll go to the post under new coach Frank Pop Ivy, seeking a third straight title in a much stronger league. The other 7 teams are generally improved clubs, and they're generally agreed that in the AFL, it's time for a change. The Oilers travel to Buffalo, New York, where War Memorial's the scene of the season. Billy Campbell Power will turn. The first touchdown of the 1962 campaign comes 9.5 minutes deep in the opening quarter, after George Blanders surveys the Bills' defense and changes his play at the line of scrimmage. Charlie Toller sweeps wide to the right, behind guard Hogan Horton, and drags Buffalo's Joe Canavino into the end zone for a 7-0 Oiler lead. But Buffalo has some big guns of its own, like 215-pound Ray Carlton, shown here on a 40-yard gallop that sets up a score and narrows the gap before halftime. Toller's day adds up to 109 yards rushing and includes this stage setter for Houston's final touchdown. The knockout punch is delivered by Cannon on the halfback run or pass option. His target downfield is fleet Charlie Hennigan, as 2 of Louisiana's favorite sons team up to put the game out of reach for the Bills. And Frank Pop Ivy's coaching debut in the American Football League is a 28-23 victory over Lou Saban's Buffalo Bills. Over 32,000 jam storied old Harvard Stadium the second week of the season to see the Oilers and the Patriots. The game serves as a national television salute to the new Boston. George Blanders having no part of the observance and rudely opens by showing them a bit of the old Houston. It's a direct hit to All-Pro Charlie Hennigan, and a 78-yard beauty that wasn't written into Boston's celebration script. Early in the second period, Boston comes from behind for the second time. Former consensus All-American Ron Burton makes it a 14-14 ball game with this scintillating 59-yard dash through the Houston defenses. It's a wild afternoon in Beantown with 4 touchdowns falling in the second quarter. Blanders' perfect strike down the middle to big Bob McLeod brings Houston back to a 21-21 tie before halftime. Houston trails by 6 points late in the fourth quarter when Blanda attempts to move the club with a pass for Billy Cannon. Boston's Tom Addison tips the ball in the air, and Dick Belt comes up with the interception that seals the coffin on the Oilers. It's a 34-21 Boston victory as the old Kentucky babe, Vito Perilli, applies the finishing touches with this great fake and keep, sending the defending champions down to their first defeat of 1962. At San Diego the following week, the Oilers display one of their finest offensive efforts of the year. Rookie John Hadel's first pass of the day is picked off by All-Pro defensive back Tony Banfield. Veteran George Blanders seizes the opportunity with his first play call of the day. In less than 2 minutes of play, Houston leads 7-0 on a touchdown pitch to Charlie Hennigan. The second quarter begins with Houston in possession at its own 31 and leading 14-7. 4 running plays cover the necessary 69 yards as Charlie Toller gets things started with this 25-yarder. The Oiler ground attack hits an early season peak against the Chargers, amassing nearly 300 yards. Here, Cannon chips in with 19 yards to set the touchdown scene. Now the former Heisman Trophy winner from LSU blasts it in from the 10. Behind the blocking of Hogan Wharton and Rich Michael, Cannon makes it Houston 21, San Diego 7. Cannon, shown here in the lower right corner of your screen, suffers a serious back injury on this play in the third quarter in one of the most damaging developments of 1963. But chunky Charlie Toller carries on without his Louisiana sidekick to ensure an impressive 42-17 Oiler victory over the Chargers at San Diego. After 7 consecutive weeks on the road and an open date, the Oilers bring their 2-1 season record home to the friendly confines of Jefferson Stadium for a rematch with the fast-improving Buffalo Bills. Houston leads 3-0 early in the opening quarter when Blanda's pass for Toller is swiped by veteran linebacker Marv Matusik. Now watch Carl Sharon take Matusik's lateral and turn a freak situation into 7 points for the Bills. After sitting out the second and third periods, Blanda returns in the final stanza facing a 14-3 deficit. Here's his opener. A bullseye to former Texas Southern sprinter Charlie Frazier and a 73-yard touchdown that means a new lease on life for the Oilers. In a clock-killing drive to protect his 14-10 lead, Buffalo's Warren Rabb faces 3rd and 6 and elects to throw. Rookie Gary Kutzinger comes up with this interception that keeps Houston hopes alive. Only 90 seconds remain as the veteran Blanda confidently faces the 3rd and 10 situation at his own 21. Tough Dave Smith is dispatched down the middle and on-target delivery moves the ball to midfield. In a masterful demonstration of the professional quarterback practicing his art under pressure, Blanda runs away from trouble, seeks out Groman downfield. Groman's second straight catch gives Houston a first down at the Buffalo 12. Three plays later, Blanda's masterpiece is brought to a successful conclusion. Groman works his way free from the Bills' secondary, and George drops the bomb that ends an 8-play drive in just 80 seconds. Houston wins the first of a series of cliffhangers as Buffalo falls 30 seconds shy of an upset win over the defending champion. The New York Titans are Houston visitors the following Sunday and catch the Oilers in a record-setting mood. Bobby Jancic sets the pace with this 53-yard kickoff return behind 2 Charlie Toller blocks, setting up Houston's first score. On their way to a record 56 points, Blanda fires 2 first-quarter touchdown passes to Groman, including this 54-yard beauty. Bob McLeod's block on Daynard Paulson makes it a sure thing. In a 56-17 rout of Titans, determined Dave Smith, subbing for the injured Billy Cannon, typifies the aggressiveness of the Oilers by wading through 2 tacklers to put points on the scoreboard. After a 20-10 loss at Denver, the Oilers hit the low point of their season on October 28th against the Dallas Texans. Billy Cannon's fine opening kickoff return is a misleading indicator of things to come as the Oilers suffer their second straight loss. Blanda's first pass of the game is intended for Groman, but the die is cast for today's game as Bobby Hunt intercepts at midfield, returns to the Houston 30, before Bob Talamini moves up to make the stop. Immediately, the Oilers are introduced to the bullish charge of 240-pound fullback Curtis McClinton. who is destined to become AFL Rookie of the Year. The Oiler defense stands for 3 downs inside the 5-yard line, but on 4th down, the fabulous Abner Haynes slips through for the game's first touchdown. Four minutes later, the floodgates are thrown wide open against the Oilers as Player of the Year Lenny Dawson whips one down the middle to All-Pro end Chris Burford, and the big Texan receiver starts Houston on its way to a painful 31-7 defeat. At the halfway point in the season, the Oilers pack up their 4-3 record and go to Dallas for a rematch the following week. The Texans lead the Western Division by half a game over Denver, while Houston's 2 straight losses leave the club a full game behind Boston in the Eastern Division. And in the Cotton Bowl, a large delegation of backers follow the club to Big D, where a spontaneous display of loyal support greets the Oilers as they enter Cotton Bowl Stadium for the kickoff. In a bitterly contested but scoreless first quarter, Charlie Toller carries the fight to the Texans with a brilliant exhibition of balance and power. Six minutes before the half, Blanda launches a drive from deep in Houston territory with a 26-yard shot to reliable Charlie Hennigan. Facing a 3rd and 6 situation, George brings them out in a triple wing formation and places his confidence in Willard Duvall, whose tough catch means 13 yards and a first down. The first touchdown in a tense struggle comes from the 6 and has the familiar ring. It's Blanda to Cannon for the score less than 2 minutes before the half. The Oilers score in just 4 plays after intermission as the stumpy Toller rolls for 12 yards behind Al Jamison's block to get the march underway. Blanda's next play call is a pass to Cannon, and it works for 24 yards before Johnny Robinson and friends bring the action to a halt. When a running play fails, Blanda goes back to the day's best gainer, the pass for Cannon. And Billy accepts a 34-yard scoring heave to account for both Oiler touchdowns in a dramatic showdown. It's a great day for the defensive unit as the Texans' Lenny Dawson takes this kind of pounding from red-dogging Freddie Glick and teammates. In a vital 14-6 victory in the Cotton Bowl, Toller adds insult to injury by scoring this knockout over the giant Texan linebacker in the 4th quarter. After a narrow escape from the Oakland Raiders, the Oilers return home to an overflow crowd on November 18th for a showdown with the Boston Patriots, who lead Houston in the Eastern Division by a half game. Houston fans get an early jolt as Boston's first possession is a 75-yard touchdown drive, ending in Babe Parilli's 28-yard scoring pitch to dangerous Jim Coldclaw. But before the quarter is over, All-Pro flanker Charlie Hennigan's great catch at full throttle makes it 7-7, and the morale of the home folks is greatly improved. Early in the second quarter, the Oilers move into Boston territory on Willard Duvall's ability to catch the ball in thick traffic. How's this one for a tough catch? Now, watch Blanda look the defenders away from his primary target, and then drop the payload on Big Bob McLeod for the 14-7 lead. Lightning strikes Boston hopes minutes later as veteran quarterback Babe Parilli is injured by the aroused and on-charging Oiler defense. Substitute Tom Usick tries to move the Pats, but his introduction to Captain Ed Hussman's crew is a rough one. Freddie Glick takes the passer, and Doug Klein devours the receiver for an 11-yard loss. The Oilers lead by only 14-10 in the third quarter when Cannon gets off this 13-yarder to set the scoring wheels in motion. On a 3rd and 4 situation, Blenda saves the drive with a safety valve pass to Toller, who is tripped up by 275-pound Jess Richardson. On the 15th play of the pressurized drive, Blenda scatters into a triple wing and hits Cannon, who is barely short for the touchdown. On his 8th carry of the drive, Toller bangs it in from the 1 to put victory on ice. As well-wishers pour onto the field at Jefferson Stadium, the Oilers are back in first place in the Eastern Division for the first time in 2 months. It's 21-17 for the defending champions, and a half-game lead over Boston, with 4 games standing between Houston and a championship date with the Western Division winners. San Diego's visit to Houston the following week provides another cliffhanger. Rookie John Hadel fires 2 touchdown passes in the game's first 4 minutes. This one to Dave Kusurik, as the Chargers capitalize on 2 early breaks. Jackie Lee comes on to quarterback Houston early in the second quarter as the Oilers trail 14-0 and are kicked into a hole. Jackie's first play call of the day is the long bomb to Willard Duvall, and the result is a new AFL record play covering 98 yards as the Duke turns on the speed to outrun the Chargers' Bob Bethune. Blanda returns to the controls to start the fourth quarter with Houston trailing 27-19. The Oilers' pressure specialist gets stout protection as he triggers one to Cannon for a 22-yard pickup. Another Cannon catch moves it to the Charger 41 before Duvall contributes this leaping catch to move 25 yards closer. Now Blanda sizes up the defense, changes the play at the line of scrimmage. His second choice is the answer to the situation as Duvall makes the catch and bulls his way into the end zone. It's 27-25, and the Oilers need a 2-point conversion for the first time in their history. Blanda's choice is Mr. Clutch Play himself, and Cannon makes it look so easy. The ever-dangerous Chargers strike back on the aerial arm of Hadel, but 2 pass interceptions, this one by hustling Jim Norton, end the threats and lead to field goals by George Blanda. When Blanda puts the toe to this 39-yarder, only 3 minutes remain, and Houston's cliffhangers have done it again with a 33-27 squeaker over San Diego. A deluge of rain, and the Denver Broncos arrive in equal force the following week to challenge the defending champions. Frank Tripucka's second quarter pass for Al Frazier is jarred loose by Doug Klein and intercepted by Tony Banfield. Trailing 14-10, the Oilers move only 5 yards in 3 plays. Now watch the great Hennigan sliding catch on 4th down save the drive. Blanda and Cannon give meaning to Hennigan's catch by collaborating on the go-ahead touchdown that gives Houston a 17-14 halftime lead. The game's turning point comes early in the third quarter as Jim Frazier's punt is blocked by the great Oiler defense and Banfield recovers. Again, it's 4th down before Blanda pops the scoring pass to Hennigan, and the Oilers go on to win their 5th straight by 34-17. Houston's 6th consecutive win comes at the expense of the Oakland Raiders. Blanda zeroes in on 240-pound Bob McLeod, and the Big West Texan rambles the remainder of the necessary 55 yards for a 20-0 lead early in the second quarter. Oakland closes the margin to 20-17, and midway of the third quarter, ageless Ben Agajanian sets his sights on the tying field goal. But quick Ed Hoosman crashes through to veto the maneuver, and Tony Banfield scoops up the loose ball. As the all-pro defensive back streaks to another touchdown for the defensive unit, the club is nailing down a 32-17 victory to move a single game away from the Eastern Division title. The Oiler resurgence in the second half of the season can be attributed in large measure to the fine play of Captain Hoosman's determined defenders. The Oilers wear sneakers to grip the frozen turf at the Polo Grounds in the season finale. New York trails by 7 when Lee Grosskopf's pass is swiped by Freddie Glick, whose second theft of the day results in a 31-yard return by the veteran safety man. On the first play after the interception, Blanda decides on shock treatment for the Titans as he throws deep to Cannon, who does his juggling act to the tune of 6 points. And Billy now appears fully recovered from his painful early season back injury at San Diego. His third quarter touchdown run is one of the finest in Oiler history. Behind John Frangillo's block, he turns upfield with Charlie Toller and Bob Talamini as a protective shield. As blockers are stripped away, Billy battles the final 30 yards unescorted in a great demonstration by the former LSU consensus All-American. The 44-10 triumph gives Houston the Eastern title, and when Jackie Lee sends Toller on this 14-yard jaunt in the fourth quarter, the tough little man from Natchitoches becomes the Oilers' first 1,000-yard ground gainer in history. But pro football history of greater significance is written 8 days later in Jefferson Stadium. The Dallas Texans, champions of the Western Division, bring an 11-3 record to Houston to challenge the right of the Oilers to a third straight title. Defending champion Houston has won the Eastern title with the same 11-3 mark, including a 7-game victory streak that is still unbroken. With Player of the Year Lenny Dawson calling the shots, the Texans dominate first-half play on the flying feet of former TCU All-American Jack Spikes, shown here going 33 yards to open the second quarter of play. A face guard tackling penalty shoves the trailing Oilers back to their own 29 in one of the early breaks of the hard-fought battle. Nourishing a 3-0 lead, Dawson takes his time on second down after a run fails. Now the former Purdue great flips to Abner Haynes, and little Abner casually strolls in for his 20th touchdown of the year. Houston trails 17-0 at halftime, but on the first play of the third quarter, the Oilers show they're not ready to quit as Blanda drills a 24-yarder to Willard Duvall. From the triple wing, Toller goes inside for 12 important yards, leaving a string of Texans in his wake. A pass to Duvall moves the ball to the Dallas 15. On second down, Blanda goes back to Big Will, who traps the ball in the old breadbasket just to be sure. For the first time all day, the highly partisan gathering of nearly 38,000 has something to cheer about, as they feel another of Houston's famed silky Sullivan-type finishes coming on. Blanda's 31-yard field goal early in the fourth period brings the Oilers to within 7 points at 17-10. Midway of the period, a quick pitch over the middle to Cannon moves the ball to the Dallas 33. Another pass to Cannon moves the Oilers into the Texan 10-yard line. Now Blanda rolls out and throws on the run, and Hennigan wraps himself around the ball to be certain the catch is good. Just minutes remain as Blanda brings him out of the huddle to face a do-or-die situation. Under these circumstances, the nod goes to tank-like Charlie Toller, who batters down the walls of Dallas for the touchdown that ties the score and sends the game into overtime. The largest crowd ever to see an American Football League game now becomes the wildest gathering the new league has ever seen. They're rewarded with a history-making sudden death playoff as the game ends in a 17-17 tie. The Oilers reach midfield late in the fifth period as they continue to dominate play. Blanda steps up the pace, and this shot to a fighting Bob McLeod moves the ball to the Dallas 35. Two plays later, Blanda attempts to move in closer for a sure shot at the field goal. His throw for Charlie Hennigan goes astray, and 245-pound Bill Hull comes up with the biggest play of his rookie season on this 23-yard interception return. Now the teams change ends for the first sixth period in football history. Jack Spikes, named the outstanding player in the game, drills off left tackle for 19 big yards. as the Texans probe inside Houston's 20. Houston's stubborn defensive unit yields only 1 yard in 3 plays, so Dallas calls on kicking specialist Tommy Brooker. The Alabama rookie puts his toe to the ball from the 25. It's good, and the Texans are the new champions of the American Football League. As pandemonium breaks out among Dallas players and followers, the scoreboard will attest to their right to celebrate. It's 20-17 in favor of Coach Hank Stram's talent-laden Texans on pro football's longest day. It takes a record-setting performance to dethrone the first kings of the AFL in 1962, and as the Fighting Oilers return to their dressing room, they vow it will take even more to keep them from returning to the throne in 1963.